guys, I'm Krystal and I'm here today with Truman to talk about the Highlander Hive. So what is the Highlander Hive?
The Highlander Hive is a student club here on campus that runs our 3 hives. That's about it, yeah. We're focused on sustainability and giving people honey.
Who created this kind of hive thing?
Sure. So essentially what happened was Mr. Mealy, the head of the park, did a did a chapel offering last year. And he talked about building a connection between youth and nature and really wanting to use the park for something like that. And it really kind of inspired me, and it led to me joking around with a few friends about, hey, what if we just started a beehive here on campus? And then I'm pretty good friends with Mr. Mealy since he was my teacher and advisor in middle school. And so I was talking to him about it and he said, we should do it. And one thing led to another and here we have it now, so yeah.
So how did it first start? Like how did you just talk to Mr. Mealy, or where were your resources?
Yeah, so we talked to Mr. Mealy and he encouraged us to search into the Austin greater community and find beekeepers and people like that. So we naturally reached out to the Sustainable Food Center because they have a few hives there and they're around close proximity to children and volunteers. So we wanted to know how the safety would work, so we talked to them. And then we also ended up reaching out to Two Hives Honey, Tara Chapman, who gave me a class on beekeeping, I'm taking her class on beekeeping, and she's really helped us both securing the bees from actually Milk and Honey Spa, is where we got them from, but also just every step of the process. So yeah.
All right. Where is the beehive?
Sure, so the beehives are right behind us, and we're actually at the lower pond right now. As you can tell, we're actually pretty close to them, so it's totally fine to go up, you sit by the pond, look at the hives. They're fairly active today, so you may even see a few bees buzzing around, but they will not come close to you.
So St. Andrew students are allowed to come over here?
Yes, everyone is allowed to be here. A few weeks ago, a bunch of first graders were up here and it was no problem at all. I think there were like 50 or 60 of them throughout this entire place. So yeah, everyone's welcome to come up here. But we do ask that if you do want to get closer to the hives later on in the year, once we've secured funding through t-shirts and stuff like that and gotten suits, then we'll do hive tours itself. So please don't go onto this path and get closer to the hives.
You heard that, guys. What has been your most favorite part of the whole Highlander Hive?
I think honestly it was when it was like our 3rd tour, and one of the hives, the one on the right, had built some crosscomb, which is essentially some honey that extends in multiple frames, and it was on the walls, and you have to clean it up as a beekeeper or else you really can't get in and check it to see how the bees are doing. And so we cut it down, and then we had this bit of honey left over, and it was trying that and tasting our bees' honey for the first time. That was actually really cool because it was like a little spicy in some sense, and I actually got to bring a small bit down and put in the teachers' lounge and for teachers to try.
Wow, cool. And bees, would you say they're dangerous?
Well, it definitely depends. If you're just out and about with some bees, you're totally fine. Our distance right now is totally fine. If you do go into a hive, don't go into a hive without suiting and stuff like that, and a beekeeper who knows at least somewhat of what they're doing. So if you are getting up and close and personal and messing with the bees, definitely have precautions, make sure you're not allergic and things like that. But out in nature, you're totally fine if you see a bee.
Has there been any like little incidents or problems that have happened, and how have you solved them, if there has been any?
There have been a few incidences.
Oh no.
The first time that I was up here alone, doing a check-in on the hives, because you have to have, every 3 weeks you do a check-in just to make sure the queen is laying and that all the bees are going to do all right. I got a few bees into my mask. I think it was like 4 bees buzzing around, getting caught in my hair while I was out there. So I quickly slammed the lid on one of the hives and just booked it as running, which I don't recommend doing because it makes them caught on your hair and very angry. Separately, bee stings on the head do hurt, but it was totally fine. I just took the hood off, I didn't really get stung that day. And so I just put the suit aside and I cleaned it out and I got back in.
Sounds like you've been pretty busy.